Hi team, we run Coach Alexa here. I don't know whether you can hear it, but the wind is raging outside today. The unpredictable and variable spring weather continues, doesn't it? My goodness. So I thought I'd reflect a little bit on the running in the wind. I think the wind presents a slightly unique set of challenges to us as runners. So whilst it's possibly not as horrible, off-putting to go out in as heavy rain, for example, and not as dangerous as slippy surfaces like ice, it certainly plays around with our effort level and our pacing, and can cause issues as well. You know, I've got a lot of beautiful woodland near me, a lot like this, and I wouldn't want to be running through the woodland when the winds are high, because trees drop branches. Beech trees like these are notorious for not looking like their branches are dead and then dropping them on your head from a height, which doesn't end well if you happen to be underneath them in the way. But those are the dangers of falling stuff aside. High winds also, I think, impact our pace perception. So you'll notice if you're running into a headwind, obviously things are harder, the wind's pushing you backwards. You never seem to feel the equal and opposite benefit of a tailwind though, do you? But what we've been having certainly in the UK recently is kind of buffeting, gusting winds. So over the last few days there's been an average wind speed of sort of 18 to 20 miles an hour with gusts of between 40 and 45 miles an hour where I am, and you certainly feel those gusts. So I think they impact our pacing and our effort perception to pace relationship in a few different ways. One of which is the fact that if you're running, you know, into the wind and then it's gusting around or it's swirling around and then you're getting from the side or from the back, you know, running at a consistent pace is more difficult because you've got these different environmental factors kind of buffeting you around a bit, slowing you down, speeding you up, moving you from side to side. I think also that when we're running outdoors, it's like the feeling of the wind speed gives us a little bit of information about our pace and our perception of speed. So when the wind is changing and you're, it's going around in all directions, or it's picked up in speed, it changes that extra bit of information we get from the feeling of the wind in our hair, the wind on our skin, as to how fast we're going. And I don't know about you, but I find it almost sort of, depending on the direction, can feel like it's kind of drawing the air out of your lungs or forcing the air into the lungs at times, sometimes when we don't want to be doing that. We want to perhaps be doing the opposite. So it feels like it changes our pace perception. It messes around with just the mechanics of our running, with the difference in wind resistance and direction. And it changes, our breathing a little bit, how our breathing feels a little bit more than our breathing itself. So it's another argument, wind and running in higher winds, to run to perceived effort and not be too bothered about pace. You know, on a very, very blustery day, your pace is going to be a little bit unpredictable, probably on average a little bit lower than it would be on a completely calm day. So it's another reason to think about effort perception, breathing and heart rate as a factor for the success of the pacing of your run, rather than out and out minutes per mile or minutes per kilometre. But I thought I'd share a few little reasons why windy conditions can be a little bit of a challenge. Sometimes they can be quite exhilarating and fun though, can't they, if you're out of the way of large trees. Happy running.